Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again for another slice of seasonal screaming. Let's have a look at our first haunted house, and this is about a house, I believe, in Edinburgh. Quite a few of these are north of the border because that's where Catherine Crowe spent most of her adult life. I know of 2 or 3 other houses in this city in which circumstances of this nature are transpiring or have transpired very lately, but people hush them up from the fear of being laughed at and also from an apprehension of injuring the character of a house. On which account I do not dwell on the particulars, but there was, some years since, an ill repute of this kind attached to a house in St. J. Street, some of the details of which became very public. It had stood empty a long time, in consequence of the annoyances to which its inhabitants had been subjected. There was one room particularly which nobody could occupy without disturbance. On one occasion, a youth who had been abroad for some considerable time, either in the army or the navy, was put there to sleep on his arrival, since, knowing nothing of these reports, it was hoped that his rest might not be interrupted. In the morning, however, he complained of the dreadful time he had had, with people looking in at him between the curtains around his bed all night long. Avowing his resolution to terminate his visit the same day, he said he would not sleep there any more. After this period, the house stood empty again for some considerable time, but was at length taken and workmen sent in to repair it. One day, when the men were away at dinner, the master tradesman took the key and went to inspect their progress. And having examined the lower rooms, he was ascending the stairs when he heard a man's foot behind him. He looked round, but there was nobody there, and he moved on again. Still, there was somebody following. He stopped and looked over the rails, but there was no one to be seen. Although feeling rather queer, he advanced into the drawing room, where a fire had been lighted, and, wishing to combat the uncomfortable sensation that was creeping over him, he took hold of a chair and dragged it resolutely across the floor and slammed it down upon the hearth with some force and seated himself in it. To his amazement, the action in all of its particulars of sound was immediately repeated by his unseen companion, who seemed to seat himself beside him on a chair as invisible as himself. Horror-struck, the worthy builder started up and rushed from the house. Thank you. I will be back on Sunday with another.